I didn't even, may have been no audio, son of a gun. You know what? Shh, that's what you call, I don't know what to call it. But thank you for those that are joining now because it may have been no sound for 12 minutes, which means you only saw flipping screen. So, hey, make mistakes and learn. I didn't click on myself, and that's just what the heck. Okay, let's go on. So, podcast, publish, and build communities. We build thriving communities, and thriving communities are people on purpose. They know where they're going, they have a path to get there, and it's through podcasting. Because if you're creating digital assets, that's what podcasting does, along with building relationships. Because every time you have a guest on your podcast, you're building relationships. And relationships are key to your filling your heart and building your business. Because we always talk about the magic is in you. And magic is in you, and anything is possible. So join our community. And I think I did. I need to go back to our sponsor, which if you didn't, you weren't hearing my audio. So our sponsor is Growth Day. Try it for 7 days. Work on yourself. Because if you work on yourself, anything is possible. And in Growth Day, it's like the Netflix of personal development. We want you to be a creator, not a consumer. What does that mean? To consume other people's lives is different than creating your life. We want you to create your life. And to do that, podcasting is creating content. It's creating digital asset. We want you to write a book, not a legacy. I mean, that's great. That's at the end of, that's a different topic for a different day. But we want you to create a authoritative book. That gives people an opportunity to get to know you. It's kind of like you go to a restaurant and the server brings you this big old thing of garlic bread and you consume it. You eat it. And then he comes back and said, what would you like for your meal? I'm full. I ate so much garlic bread. I don't have any room to eat anything else. And he's mad because you ate all the garlic bread. Now you're not ordering the main menu. That's the same as a book. Give them a way to get to know you. Not to completely, they want to know more about you. So that is an advantage, is give them enough, because the 7-Eleven, let me see if I can bring it up here. I think I can. Yes, I can. Okay. On this, see the 7? That's 7 hours. People have to consume 7 hours of you. And if they do, you're on the path to getting to know you, like you, and trust you. And when they do the 7 hours, they're given buying signals. That's what the 11 is. People saying, yes, I'm interested in what you're talking about. I've listened to you, because if you give them a chance to binge on you, maybe they like you. They want to do business with you. So they start the know, like, and trust journey. The 11 is zero moment of truth. It's Google. And it says that when people are making 11 buying signals, that means they're interested. They're leaning into you. There's more likely they're going to do business with you. When they see you on 4 different platforms, a podcast, a book, a workshop, a webinar, a LinkedIn post, a comment on the YouTube channel. These are all different platforms. And then the magic clicks. And that's what happens when you give them the content. That's why we talk so much about podcasting, publishing, and building thriving communities. And when you build thriving communities of like-minded people, like-minded people that are on a path to be a key person of influence, to build their profile, to create people that are activating a book, to be in a community of 20 people at a time. And that's what we do in our magazine. So if you're interested in being part of our community, go to PeteKane.me/magazine. That's when we publish magazine 20 people at a time. We want you to build around yourself with key strategic partners. When you do that, these are people that you work with. These are your trusted vendors that are on your team. And when you have trusted vendors, you're bringing the team to people, not just one person. You're bringing the team. And that's what you can do at PeteKane.me/magazine. All righty. Let me see if I can. Okay. Now we're going to talk about workshops. Okay. We do a workshop on a regular basis where we talk and help you to learn about our ecosystem, because our ecosystem is in our masterclass. Our masterclass is 10 steps to scale and grow your business. And you have to think 10x. And if you do, you don't have to think. Let me just say, if you think 10x, what does that do to your mindset? It creates a mindset of systems and scale, meaning you have to go beyond yourself. You have to work on your business, not in your business. Michael Gerber made that famous. That's why we talk so much about personal development. That's why I want you to work on yourself and do it through Growth Day. Try it for 7 days. Go to PeteKane.me/growth day. Send us an email at support@PeteKane.me. We'll send you a free course. The workshop, we go through each step so you can understand systems. You have to understand systems, because if you don't create systems, you can't scale the business and have fun. If you're so working on one thing and you're not thinking of the systems, you're going to burn out. It just happens. But if you're having fun and you're working on your business, not in your business can scale. So we teach you during our workshop. That's a way we add value to our community and to people that are interested in being a part of our community. So let me see if I can go to it. I really need to get this. We have our live event that comes up once a month. That's the fourth Saturday of every month, where we get our community together, where we teach our community to speak from a platform. Because if you're going to be a key person of influence, if you're going to be a person that's creating a digital profile, people have to see you speaking, and you have to learn how to speak. The second biggest fear to dying is speaking. So if you have that fear, let's just say fear is on this shoulder. If you grow fear, it's going to grow. So if you feed your fear, it's going to grow. Over here is courage, and that's speaking. It takes courage to get in front of people and speak. You have to think of the person you're speaking to, not yourself. Because if we think of ourselves, we get self-conscious. Hey, am I wearing the right thing? Am I going to say the right thing? Just focus on others. That helps you even to think about being a servant leader. And those are the kind of things we teach you at our live event. You get to speak. You get to do 5 minutes, 3 points. You get to speak to a group. So you get to take the focus off of you and put it on the people that are receiving. Because once you shift that in your mind, you're more likely to be confident and start getting better. It doesn't happen. You don't become a speaker by just accident. You become a speaker by creating your skill set. And there's a whole system to it. But we give you an opportunity to learn from people and to be a speaker. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let me go back. Hold on here. Um, okay. Hold on. I'm going back and forth. Okay. Here we go. Book a podcast. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let me get out of here and oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun. If you can't have fun, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Let me see here. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, I think I do it right here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So why be a guest on my podcast? Because you're going to discover the power of creating a digital asset. And we get to share your story with the community that we live. We talk about thriving communities locally and globally. When we talk about global, we talk about digital because you could be halfway across the world. You could be in Nigeria, like Huzo, and you could be listening to this. And that's the power of digital, the power of a podcast. Because people, again, remember what we talked about, they got to get to know you, like you, and trust you to do business with you. A podcast can start that journey. So be a guest on my podcast. Come on, it doesn't cost you anything to create that digital asset. But it's just like Costco. They give you samples because they want you to buy a particular product. Because if you don't know if that product is any good, you're not going to buy it. So if you don't know much about podcasting, but you're looking to be a person out in front, you want to make some changes. You're saying, dang, I'm flatlining on my business. I'm not growing. I've heard about podcasting and I want to investigate it. I want to check it out. I want to test drive it. Come on, be a guest. Go to PeteKane.me, take a short assessment so I can learn about you, and then we'll have some fun. So, book a podcast. Enjoy your story. Our community gets to know more about you. And when they can know more about you, you start the journey of getting to know you, like you, and trust you. It starts with your first podcast because if you haven't done a podcast, you don't know how much fun it is and you don't give people an opportunity to get to know you. Okay, let me put this back up here I want you to know we do this each week. It's to create digital assets. It's to give our community a chance to get to know you. Give our workshop. Okay. I'm looking here. Okay, hold on here. Okay, the busy bus. Are you stuck on the busy bus? I was on it. I was on it for a long time. I'm ADD and dyslexic. Kind of a weird combination, but it's just the way the cards that were dealt me. Was there challenges? Absolutely. Was I always busy because I have the active brain? Yes, absolutely. Let me get this off so you can better. Yes, let me see. Okay. So if you can get out of the busy bus, what does it mean being stuck? I was listening to Mel Robbins the other day on Growth Day, and she talked about 89% of the people that she surveyed in her community said they were stuck. 89%. That's a lot. So if you feel stuck, where you want to go is the purpose bus. Doesn't mean you have to have this ultimate purpose. It means showing up for a meeting with a purpose, being present, showing up each day with a purpose, showing up every time you have a conversation with somebody with a purpose. Purpose is every single time during the day. Because if you're living with purpose, you're feeling the day. You're experiencing that person. You're being present with your kids, with your coworkers, with your friends, with the people you do business with. So, if you wake up and you're checking your email first, well, you're stuck on the busy bus because you're reacting to other people's you're reacting, and you're going down a path of other people's priorities. And you want to have your priorities. You want to set your goals. You want to be designing your life. And if you can do that by changing this and getting on that plane, that purpose plane where it's quiet and it's going to one destination. Well, maybe if you go through Atlanta, maybe it's two. But the purpose is you buy a ticket. I buy a ticket for LA, I'm going to LA. I buy a bus ticket to LA, I'm going to stop at 100 different cities along the way. And it's going to take me, say, 3 weeks to go across the country. Where if I buy a ticket on a plane, it's going to be faster and I'm going to get there in 3 hours versus 3 weeks. That, my friends, is speed, effective speed, because it's quiet and it has a purpose. Get to that one destination. So shift from that busy bus to the purpose plane. All right, let me go back. I'll put this up while I switch. There we go. Keep in mind that we have 5 trends: digital asset, entrepreneurial, crypto, led by Bitcoin, AI revolution. And I think I can give you, nope, I can't. Okay. And be on our podcast. I'll put this up while I switch. Okay. Now, let me go back to the next one, and we're going to have Wanda coming in here in just a few minutes. So get ready for Wanda Pearson. Yes, holy mackerel, Wanda is in the house. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring Wanda up here. I was going to do mindset growth versus fix, but let me find Wanda's slide here so we can bring you Wanda Pearson. Hold on, I'm going to bring Wanda onto the. Hey, Wanda, welcome.
Hey, hi, Pete. How are you?
If I was any better, I couldn't stand myself. So I'm looking for. Okay, here's what I have. There we go. Protecting yourself and your business.
Yes,
Because
yes.
that's so important, and an expert is in the house to walk you through these 3 major points. So Wanda is a person that gives, a person that's out there making a difference, because whether you are aware of it, whether you think it, we're in a litigious society. Everybody's out there. You got to follow the rules. You got to have access to the legal system. If you don't, you're not protecting yourself and your business. So, Wanda, we are so glad you're here. So, share with our viewers, what does it mean to protect yourself and your business?
Thank you, Pete. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. You always be getting me out here. Yes, I am a busy lady trying to make sure that everybody is protected legally. So, thank you again for having me on. So, what I want to do is share 3 key reasons why protecting yourself and your business is legally is essential. It's very essential to have this, especially nowadays here. So, let me ask you a question. Have you ever faced a situation where you didn't know if you needed legal help, but you wish you had someone to guide you? Maybe it was signing a contract, dealing with a dispute, or protecting your personal information. If you and your business is essential, if you and your business legally is essential, we're going to talk about 3 points: access to the legal system, affordability and leverage, and the strength of a legal community. Being in the community, Pete, is so important, as far as spreading the word and letting people know what it is. So I am out there. They call me the networking queen, but I wanted to make sure that everyone has access to the legal system. So, what I want to do is highlight the challenge. For most people, the legal system feels complex, overwhelming, and out of reach. Maybe many don't seek help because they assume it's too expensive or time consuming. Or maybe you think about everyday situations, disputes with a contractor, a landlord, or even an unexpected legal document. Always make sure a lawyer review those legal documents because those little small prints, you just never know. So without access to the legal guidance, small issues can quickly escalate. That's why you need legal assistance. So let me explain the importance of having it. When you have access to the legal system, you can confidently make informed decisions, resolve issues faster, and avoid costly mistakes. I remember I used to say, I'm going to call my lawyer on you, knowing I don't have a lawyer. So when I had my legal system, I was so happy that I had a lawyer in my back pocket where I can call at any time. So let me emphasize the second point, the affordability and leverage. So legal protection doesn't have to mean emptying your savings, right? By finding the right resources, you can protect yourself and your business without the hefty price of a price tag. And connecting it to leverage, let's say affordable legal assets is also to give you your leverage. Imagine negotiating a contract or resolving disputes with confidence. Knowing you have expert support in your corner, that kind of leverage can save time, money, and even relationships. For example, consider this. Having a lawyer review a contract could save you from agreeing to unfavorable terms. It's not just protection, it's power. That's when you have the power to know I want to make sure that this contract is correct. Like I said, never sign a contract without a lawyer reviewing it. So you can review it, but you can miss those small legal points. We don't know if you're not a lawyer. We don't know what those little information in that contract may have, right? So the third part that I want to talk about is the power of the legal community. Let me define legal community. A legal community isn't just about having one lawyer, it's about tapping into a network of experienced professionals across different areas of law. You can say, oh, I have a cousin, a friend that's a lawyer, but are they experienced in every profession of law? That's where you need to really make sure that you can define your community. What about whether it's business law, estate planning, or personal issues? The right legal community offers specialized expertise. You're never alone in facing the challenges. So, having that collective knowledge and experience on your side means you're always prepared, no matter what life or business throws your way. Make sure you're always prepared. So, in conclusion, let me reinforce my message. Access to the legal system, affordability, and the support of a legal community aren't just nice to have, they're game changers. They give you the confidence to protect yourself and your business, make smarter decisions, and handle challenges head on. So, what I want you to do is take a moment to think about your current legal preparedness, especially if you want to up a will. I mean, wills are so important these days. But if you're in the business, you need contracts reviewed or you need collection letters. So, think about that. Are you truly protected? It's never too late to take the first step towards securing your future. I want
Man,
you
I love that, Wanda. Every time I hear you speak, it fires me up. I've had your service for 20 years, 25 years probably. And
yes,
the one thing
yes,
I always keep and hold on to is my access to the legal system. I'm not somebody that can afford the $500 an hour, the $1,000 an hour, but I can afford a small monthly payment. It's kind of like my legal insurance. And I want
yes,
to encourage our viewers to go to PeteKane.me/Wanda Pearson. And it's not up today, but it'll be up next week, where you can book appointment with Wanda to talk about being able to protect yourself, because we are part of a community that you need access. If you don't have access to the legal system, you're out there on an island by yourself. And that's not the way we want to be. We talk about thriving communities. You want to be in a community with people that have access to the legal system. So thank you, Wanda. Wanda is going to be back with us in just a little bit because she's going to talk more in depth about wills and why it's so important. Because I think the number, tell our viewers before you jump off, Wanda, what
Mhm.
percentage of people in America have wills?
32%. 32%.
That's not a high number, people.
Yeah.
It's not a high number. You know what? I heard somebody say this. This was years ago. Think of yourself as your love for your loved ones, your kids, your family. If you leave this earth, because everybody, nobody makes it out of this life alive. It's just the fact of life. It happens. We're gonna go someday. But if
Hmm.
you can go with the idea that your family and friends and the people you love don't have to figure it out, you figure it out with them, communicate with them, let them know what your intentions are. You have your diamond ring, you want to give it to one of your daughters versus the other. Talk to
Yeah.
them, tell them why. I mean, don't just leave the
Yes.
earth and then they got, hey, did mom love me more than you because she gave me your diamond? No,
Yes.
she wanted to spread it out, but she didn't communicate it on a will. You have to communicate before you leave this earth because
Yes.
that's your way of showing love to your family by letting them know your intentions. All right.
Yes.
So, hey, look, I
Yes.
get fired up when we talk about that. So, thank you so much, Wanda. We'll have you back in just
Thank
a few
you.
minutes. So, thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you, Pete.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now we want to bring you mindset growth versus fixed. You see, when it comes to this, you hear this, I've heard this. My friend Crystal gave me this book about a mindset. It was by Carol DeWitt, and it changed me into thinking. I always thought I had a positive mindset, but I found that sometimes I would fall into a fixed mindset, which meant I was what I had thought and believed before had changed. And I have to learn to always challenge your belief system. And you do that when you have growth as a mindset because we're always being challenged to think differently. I mean, respect people when you're talking to somebody. They may have a different viewpoint on something. Doesn't mean you have to say, "Hey, I don't want to listen to you." No, ask them some questions. Talk about it. We in America have just come out of the most craziest 4 years I've ever seen because you were either on one side or the other and there was nothing in the middle. Is that the way we want to act? I may not agree with you, but I want to learn from you. Why do you believe that? Why have you always thought that way? Because maybe I can learn more from you if I have that growth mindset. I had a pastor on, what was it, a couple years ago, and we were talking about this various topic. And he said, you know what, if we had more grace for people that don't believe exactly like we believe, we would understand more. And I think we all grow up with a certain mindset. That's just life. But it doesn't mean we have to stay in that mindset. Grow, grow, and use the word. I love what Carol DeWitt said, the word yet. I haven't learned this topic yet. I haven't understood more about this person yet. When you use that one word yet, it tells your brain that maybe there's something you need to learn. So, when you enter in a situation, enter in with a mindset of growth, with grace, with understanding of people. You'll be so much better off because when we lock ourselves in a fixed mindset, we're not growing. Okay, so now let me see. I think I have one. Okay, this one I love because we're about podcasting, publishing, and building thriving communities. So, our recent, all the elections that we have, there's so much money spent in these elections. They tell us, they give us lessons. but you have to kind of set yourself back, take your priorities of who you wanted to vote for. That's not the point here. The point is that our traditional legacy media, which is more controlled about what you hear and see and be able to absorb, podcasting is putting yourself out there. We've talked on earlier podcasts or earlier in this virtual summit about if people want to get to know you, like you, and trust you, they have to be able to consume you. When Trump got on the Joe Rogan, which was millions and millions of viewers, he was on there for 3 hours. You can't fool people in 3 hours. It's just not possible, because if you're on the Joe Rogan show, he's going to ask you some tough questions. Now, Kamala, she didn't get on the Joe Rogan show. Why? Who knows? I have no idea. But I have a feeling that she wanted to control it. I think I heard that they only wanted to do 45 minutes and they wanted to give Joe the questions to answer. It doesn't work that way. We can't get to know you. You can't control the narrative when you're on a long form podcast. When 3 hours of talking back and forth gives people an opportunity to get to know you. That's why we always talk about podcasts, publish, and build thriving communities. Podcasting gives you the ability to put yourself out there in a digital world. And the digital world now has created, when I meet Wanda, let's say we bump into each other, and I've never met Wanda before, and we have a conversation about legal access. We're just talking. We're having a great conversation. I'm saying, you know what? Wanda made so much sense. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to Google Wanda. And if I Google her and I see a ghost town, I'm going to just say, yeah, I'm not. Maybe it was just a good night and Wanda had some good things, but if I can't find her online, I don't have a chance to journey through consuming more of Wanda. Because when I get back, and I'm going to bring it up here in just a second, when I get back to what I started off with, which was 7-11-4, people have to consume 7 hours of you. So if I search Wanda, and I know she's a podcaster like we are, I can learn more about Wanda. I can start listening to some of her podcasts. I can have a better understanding, because when I hear about Legal Shield, I have no idea what it is if I meet Wanda for the first time, but I'm hearing her through her podcast. I'm getting to know her. I'm getting to trust her. And when you know, like, and trust, you do business with people. So when we say 7 hours is what that means. People have to consume 7 hours of you, and they have to make 11 buying signals, which would mean maybe it's a book that I order of Wanda. Maybe it's another podcast on a different channel. Maybe it's on Instagram. Maybe it's a short or something, but I have to see you on 4 different platforms. So a book is a platform, a podcast is a platform, an Instagram post is a platform, a workshop's a platform. They're different ones. And when that happens, the human brain switches, because it's all about people. You're getting to know people, trust them, and do business with them when you go through that journey. So I challenge you, if that's not something you want, if you're not, we do a connect. You can go to PeteKane.me/connect, because it's about connecting, building relationships in our community. It's about common people who believe in podcasting, publishing, and building thriving communities. And that's what we're all about. So let me go back to, I got to change this out real quick. Yes, we give our masterclass because we want you to grow. We want you to have an opportunity. You can go through our masterclass and it'll take you about an hour. So if you go to PeteKane.me/masterclass, there's 10 steps, 10 strategies to help you grow in this economy, because it's all about podcasting, publishing, and building thriving communities. Okay. All right. Let me go on to one more thing here. Okay. Now we're going to get into the learning pyramid. What does the learning pyramid mean? There is a pyramid that when we hear something, we retain 10%. When we teach it, like we're doing today, you learn 90%. So if you want to increase your retention and learning by 80%, teach it. Now, there's other percentages along the way, but the main point is when you're listening to something, immediately teach it. You can teach it to our community of podcasters. That's what Wanda's doing. She gets to learn more when she teaches it. That's what we have to think. Podcasting is creating content. So if you're creating content for your community, you're teaching it, you're helping them understand more of why it's so important to be able to have access to the legal system. You're teaching wills, you're teaching access, you're teaching contracts in a way that prepares us, because when you need an attorney is not the time to think about the legal system, legal shield. The time is now. That's why go to Wanda, go to PeteKane.me/Wanda Pearson. Set up an appointment with Wanda. Talk through your situation. Talk through what it would mean to have a will, to be able to have that document done before you pass, so your loved ones can get direction on what your thoughts and ideas are about how you're going to leave this planet. So be in a position to not only hear something, but teach it. So let me see if I can. I'm working behind the scenes here. This is I have somebody coming pretty soon to work these slides. Let me see what. Oh, okay. We're going to bring Wanda back in just a minute. So stay tuned. I know you're hearing a lot from me, but normally that's not going to be the case. It'll be 10 individual speakers doing 15 talks every Friday. So, and then you can come to our live event, which I think I have here. I'll give a plug for our live event. Once a month, the fourth Saturday of each month from 10 to 11:30, come to Grace Church, where it's in Kennesaw. So if you're listening to this and you're halfway across the world, I don't think you're flying in for this event yet. Yet. Maybe down the road. But you'll hear Wanda speak in person. You can meet her, shake her hand, ask her questions. And that's what our live event is. Thriving Community is helping our community to speak, to connect, to add value. Because the second biggest fear to dying is speaking. Now, why is that the second biggest fear? There can be a lot said about when you get up to speak, if you're only thinking of yourself, like, how do I look? Am I going to be able to say the right words? That's the wrong mindset. The mindset is there's somebody out there that I'm speaking to that can absorb, I can change, that I can help. And if you have a servant heart, then it's not about you. It's about who's going to hear your message. That's why we help our speakers to get over that mindset of it's about me. No, it's about the people out in the audience, the people that are going to hear this in the community around the world, because we record and we stream our live event. So go to PeteKane.me/live, sign up. Come as just to come meet somebody, like meet Wanda in person. It's all about in person. Yes, we do this virtual event to create content, but we're emotional people. We like to have relationships with people. You can't have a relationship with a person you've never met. I mean, you can, but you eventually want to connect with them. That's why you come to the live event. Okay. So you've been looking at PTSD versus PTSG. So what does that mean? Growth versus disorder. We've all heard that people can have PTSD, which is, I guess, everything is a disorder these days. But what it is trauma and stress creates a different way we think. I'm not a, I'm not anything to do with therapy of the brain, but I did recover from a brain injury, which is stroke takes half your brain and just messes it up. So you have to rebuild it by growing, and there's certain things you do. But in this case, I want you to think the trauma and stress you go through is going to help you grow. Look at the times in your life that you've been through trauma, that you've been through stress. How did you learn? What did you gain? Nobody, when you're in the middle of something, that's not the time. Just lean into it. Appreciate that when you get on the end of a storm, what did you learn from that storm? How can you grow better, be a better person by embracing the trauma, embracing the stress? Because we all go through it. I don't know, just like nobody can make it out of this life alive, nobody's going to get through life without trauma and stress. You got to learn how to take that and grow from it. That's why we always promote Growth Day. That's why they're our sponsor, because you can try it for 7 days. It's the Netflix of personal development. When we talked about the 5 trends at the beginning, we also talk about the 6th one is personal development, because the magic starts with you. And anything is possible, but we have to grow as people. We have to grow in our skills and how we can become better. And we get better when we go through trauma and stress, if we take that. So go to PeteKane.me / growth day. And then email us at support@PeteKane.me, and we'll give you a free course, Mindset, Goals, and Habits. Okay, I'm going to put this back up. Wanda's going to be coming back. I got to find her slide. So hold on here. Bear with me. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Okay, let me see if I can find it here. Hold on here. I know I have it because I saw it in just a second. Oops, there it is. There it is. Oh, Krista is in the house. Krista O'Neill is in the house. If I can find Krista before, because, I'm trying to talk and do things at the same time, which isn't working too good. Okay, hold on here. Oh, okay, hold on here. I got it. Okay. Nope. Okay, I'm almost there. I know, because we were trying. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring Krista on, then wait, hold it. Let me look here. Okay, let me bring Wanda back. Okay, then we're going to bring Krista right after Wanda. Okay, Krista, I know you might be able to hear me, but let me get Wanda, and she's going to talk first, and then Krista is going to be next. Krista is going to talk about social media amplification. You want to be there for this because she's rocking the world, helping you amplify your voice. So, Wanda, thank you for coming back. So, why
Sure.
protecting your family and your business legally? Why is it essential?
Well, it's essential. I think we're going to do the will. We did the business legal assist.
Okay. Okay. You know
we
what? Uh,
we did that
I
one.
yeah. If you
Yeah.
can
Why
speak,
why you need a will?
let's throw let's throw the will in there. Just
Okay.
give our community what you just talked about. And I apologize for messing that up. Okay.
No problem. No problem. Well, thank you for having
Okay.
me on
Here I'm
again.
going to give you have the floor.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about, and we actually, why protecting yourself is essential. But what I wanted to talk about is why you need a will, which is protecting your legacy. is essential, right? So thank you for having me on again, Pete. I appreciate it. But let me ask you a question. What happens to your assets and loved ones if you don't have a will? Now, remember, you want to make sure that your family and your business is protected, right? So, a will is a legal document that ensures your wishes are fulfilled after you pass away. I call it's your legal love letter to your family. A legal love letter to your family is something that you leave to your family in case anything happens. Listen, I just had a niece that actually 39 years old passed away 2 weeks ago. So that is so important because you never know when things can happen. We want to talk about it. But the common myth is that I don't have enough assets to need a will. Reality is everyone needs one. 68% of people do not have a will. Wow, that's a big percentage. And only 32% of people will have a will to protect their legacy. So having a will is essential. You may not have anything, but you have stuff that your family, you want to make sure that is correctly put up the right way. So what happens without a will? Well, we'll never want this to happen. The state decides who gets your assets, not you. Do you want your state to take over your estate when you work so hard to accomplish what you have done? I know I don't. It can cause family disputes and long legal battles. An example of what happened to me with my brother. My brother died. I end up unexpectedly. I end up being the contingent, and his children was upset with me, and our relationship is not the same. So that's why you need to have your legal love letter. You know, make sure you have it done. If you have a minor children, the court decides your guardian. You don't want your children to go to anybody that you don't want. You want your children to go to somebody that you trust and that they like. So that is a big one. That happens when you don't have a will, right? So let me talk about the key benefits of having a will. Control. You decide how your assets are distributed. Protect your loved ones. Appoint guardians for children or dependents. Avoid pre-bate delays. That would speed up the process, the legal process, instead of going through probate, because that could take years. And also, it minimizes taxes and costs. It helps reduce the estate taxes and legal fees. So, how to get a will? A lot of people want to do the DIY, do it yourself will. Make sure you use a trusted attorney or legal service for an affordable professional will. This ensures it's legally valid and updated as life changes. I was told that you should update your will at least once a year or twice a year at the most because things change. Marriage, new children, you want to add them to your will. So, in conclusion, I want to make sure that you get your will signed and notarized. It means nothing but a piece of paper without getting it notarized. I heard this, Pete. Warren Buffett says to review your will with your loved ones before signing it. This would avoid disputes among family members after the passing of your loved one. Final thought: a will is not for you, it's for the people you love. This is your legal love letter to your family. So, next step: don't wait. Take action today to create or update your will. Thank you, Pete.
Dang, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you so much. I'm behind the scenes kind of clicking through and trying to figure out things as we go. It's kind of like, I
Yeah.
heard like back, I forgot who said it, but we don't have the advantage of landing a plane and fixing it. We got to fix it while we're flying it. So sometimes you just got to fly and fix on the fly. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
anybody wants to get more of Wanda Pearson, just go to PeteKane.me/Wanda Pearson, where you can book next week an appointment with Wanda and talk more about your situation to better understand what you need. Getting that will is so important. So, Wanda, thank you so much for being with us
Thank
and taking
you.
the time to
Thank you,
share
Pete.
with our community.
I
Okay,
appreciate
our
it.
next person. Oh, yes, I see her in the green room. Holy, I'm going to bring her on while I can maneuver this behind the scenes. I'm going to try and bring up one thing so you can look at it, and then I'm going to bring on Krista. Hold on here. Okay, hold on here. I'm just okay. Okay. I'm going to bring this up and then I'm going to find Krista's slide. Krista, welcome to the virtual summit. So glad you're here.
Hello, hello.
That is so good. And you know what? But let me introduce properly Krista, and I'm going to find her slide in just a second so she can start. Krista is a mother, a wife, a business owner, and a social media amplifier. Now, what does that mean? She's going to take your message and amplify it. She's going to get it out there. Social media is the platforms are free, but you got to know the strategy. That's why you need to know Krista O'Neill because she's going to give you strategy. And you have to have a strategy in anything you do. And when I first had her on my podcast, I knew she was a person on the move because she was doing so many things, but balancing them all. It seemed to me you were balancing them, maybe not, but anyway, let me get this off the screen. I'm going to, but I want Krista to come, and I'm going to find that slide. And they say, "Oh yes, I can." Krista, come on in, and I'm going to find your slide, and then you can start in a couple of seconds.
Awesome. Sounds good. I'm glad it looks like I'm balancing it. I actually had that conversation with my husband yesterday that some things got to give. And right now in my life, I'm not going to the gym as much as I want to. So that's currently what is giving in my life that makes everything else look like it's balanced.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I think it's a false thing to say we're always balanced because we're trying to juggle a lot of things. We get better each day. So, Krista, we're talking about maximizing engagement and amplifying word of mouth and expanding your reach. Could you share with our viewers what that means?
Yeah. So when we talk about maximizing engagement, amplifying your word of mouth and expanding your reach, we're looking at connecting with your ideal customers through the largest word of mouth platforms that exist. So if you think about it, social media is a word of mouth platform. It favors being authentic and organic, and it helps you reach your ideal demographic directly, one to one. So it is that network that gives you the leverage and the ability to engage in a maximal effort, right? Engage with your ideal demographic and amplify what you're saying in a word of mouth setting. So that's really where that social media piece comes into play. And so when we think about engagement, just kind of a quick tidbit of how to do that. Most of you probably are familiar with Facebook majority versus Instagram. So we'll focus on that. But when we think about engaging with your ideal demographic through Facebook, that could be done through groups. It could be done through one-on-one connections. It could be connecting as the business. It could also include connecting as you as an individual. So there's a lot of different ways that you can amplify your business and your message through social media. Instagram is a little bit different, just like LinkedIn is a little bit different. So each of these platforms have a specific way that you want to engage with your customers. But ultimately, the beauty behind those platforms is that if you can identify your ideal demographic, which I know Pete drills that home as he should, your ideal demographic needs to be defined. But once you define your ideal demographic, you can figure out how to find them on these social platforms and connect with them personally and really build those relationships. And then from there, when we think about networking groups and word of mouth platforms, social media has the ability to do that. Most of the businesses that are here have probably experienced that to some degree, whether you're HVAC, plumbing, electrical, or you're a marketing agency like me. If you have really good word of mouth and a good reputation and somebody sees that there's a need in the community, they'll comment on that post and they'll recommend you. And so that's where that expansion comes from, leveraging the word of mouth platform of social media. I should say platforms of social media. And so obviously that leads into expanding your network and expanding your reach. When you organically post on social media, the predominant audience that sees that are people who are already following you or already in your network. But if you strategically use hashtags and locations and then layer on that outbound engagement, that's how you connect with a new audience. And that's where you expand your network and expand your reach. So there's a lot that goes into social media. It can seem confusing, but if we dumb it down a little bit and just again identify our ideal demographic and then think about how those people are engaging on these platforms, it makes it a lot easier to find them and then communicate with them directly.
I love
I'm happy to expand more if you want me to. You just let me know.
Yes. Well, what I want them to do is I want them to book an appointment with you because, social media is free. However, it's not free for the strategy. It's changing very rapidly, and you got to have a strategist, a coach like Krista, and she's part of our master class because it's number 10, which is social media amplification. So if this resonated with you and you're out there like wondering, how am I going to amplify my social? You need a strategist. You need Krista. So if you go to PeteKane.me/ spell her name, Krista O'Neill, you don't need the dash on the O'Neill, but you just spell that out. You'll be able to book an appointment with Krista. And so you can share with her, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you want to do with your business? If you don't know that, you have to have Krista sit down with you to see if this is the strategy you want for yourself. Because again, social media is free, but strategy cost in you investing in your business, in Krista, in understanding the years that she has spent teaching people teaching their business how to grow. So Krista, thank you so much. I know we have one more slide and I'm going to have to find it and talk at the same time, which is hard for me to do.
No worries.
Go chew gum and walk at the same time.
I'll try to fill that with you. So while you find that, I'll give an analogy.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay.
The way I look at social media is kind of like buying a car on Carvana. And I am not a person who knows how to drive a stick shift. So let me start with that. But if you were to buy a car through Carvana, which is, I think, the at least the nation's largest online car buying spot, and they'll deliver it to your door, right? So let's say you buy a car on Carvana and they deliver it to your door. You don't know how to drive stick shift, and this car shows up and it's a stick shift. That's really how I see social media. It's really easy to start a profile. It's really easy to download the app. It's a free app. It's really easy to use in that setting. It's hard to use as a business owner. It's like driving a stick shift, right? So you want to make sure you know how to drive the vehicle. And that's where that coaching piece or even just a strategic meeting comes into play. So Pete's got the slide pulled up: strategic word of mouth, leveraging content, creating digital assets. Strategy is really the core of a successful social media campaign, right? So the biggest thing is consistency. When you think about your presence in your business on social media, you want it to have consistency with your presence elsewhere. So if you think about your website or your business cards or your one-on-one presentations, you want to have that same level of consistency. So no matter how someone enters into your ecosystem, they understand exactly who you are, what you do, and who you want to work with more. So that's where that strategy piece comes into play. Leveraging content, Pete does that fantastic, right? So Pete's so good at doing podcasts and then reposting them on social platforms, using that content in emails. And that's really where social media comes into play from a content perspective, is you can leverage that content. Thanks, Pete, for updating the spelling. I appreciate that. But leveraging that content on multiple different platforms. So depending on the platform that we're talking about, you can have that long form content, or you can have shorts, reels. Again, it depends on the social platform and reference, but leveraging content on multiple platforms to drive home that message and build consistency. And then again, that kind of leads into creating digital assets. So those digital assets don't only have to exist on one platform. They can then layer into a YouTube channel. They could layer into an email strategy. So really, again, the biggest aspect is creating an ecosystem that works well so that your business is seen multiple times by the same people. So again, identifying your ideal demographic and then thinking about, how do I consistently maintain a presence in front of this demographic? Because the average consumer needs to see your business 7 or more times before they feel comfortable moving forward with you. So that's really the beauty of social media. It's just a piece in the puzzle. It's not the end all be all. I've had a lot of businesses come to me thinking that social media is going to be their exclusive marketing strategy. And that can be the case, but not for many businesses. More often than not, you need to have a solid email strategy in the background. You might need to have some additional digital marketing going. You might need to do paid social media ads. That's a part of social media. But What we do here is really focus on the organic before we do paid ads. So there's a lot that goes into it. If you ever want to do a free digital consultation, I'm happy to help you kind of walk through that process and figure out how digital can help your business and where social media fits into that.
Thank you, Krista. Man, I had to correct your spelling, man. I have to admit, I never was a speller, and if it wasn't for Siri and Alexa, I still wouldn't be a good speller. But it doesn't spell names, and so I didn't
No
have to
shame.
play
There's
names.
1,000 ways to spell O'Neill anyway, so it's all
Well,
good.
just to kind of back up what you shared with our community, social media is so important to amplify you. And you have to have a strategy. So if you go to PeteKane.me/Krista O'Neill, spelled the way it is on the screen, that is Krista O'Neill. You don't have to put the dash in there to get to her on the website. Book an appointment with Krista. You don't want to be driving blindly building your business. If you're going to be competitive and AI's in there, I mean, there's so many things, so many trends that are happening today that you want to have a strategy. Without a strategy, you're kind of like, it's like a ship without a rudder. You're just going to drift out there. Got to have a strategy. So I want to encourage you just to go and book appointment with Krista. So thank you, Krista. You know what? We put you back to back because a busy mom, a busy wife, a busy business owner. We know time's precious. So thank you so much for carving time out for our community to be
Absolutely.
with us.
Always a pleasure to be here, Pete. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay, now let me see. I'm gonna put this back on the screen while I find the next slide. Okay, because I know it's so important to be able to give you the last as we're winding down. We're going to be much better next week, but we're going to bring you the entrepreneur revolution, and I'm going to bring our sponsors up here and put it on the screen. It's never been easier to be an entrepreneur. Now, to be an entrepreneur, let me put it in proper context. It's hard, very hard. If you're looking for a steady paycheck, you don't want to be an entrepreneur because it's tough, but it's also easier than it was. You don't have to build a factory. You don't have to put a brick and mortar retail outlet out there, but you have to understand how to create content. And content allows you to create digital assets. So, the entrepreneurial revolution, and when we talk about building thriving communities locally and globally, what we're talking about globally is digitally. You could be doing business all over the world. The best strategist I know is Seth Godin. He talks about strategy. And the industrial revolution is gone, past. Working 40 years and retiring for a company, that's history. Maybe you're at the end of your 40 years and you're looking, what am I going to do for my next whatever years? Let's say you retire at 65. Well, I tell you what, we're living longer. And if you can hang on, like I was listening to a podcast the other day, and he talked about just live for the next few years because we're figuring out solutions through AI that's going to extend our life. So maybe you extend it to 100. Now, the reason you don't want to live to be 100 is because you're thinking, will the quality of life be there? But if you take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your body, maybe you do live that long. So that creates 35 years. If that works out to be the math, 65 from 100 is 35 years. What are you going to do for the next 35 years? Maybe be a business owner. Maybe be an entrepreneur. Maybe be a creator. Take the 4 hours that the average American watches TV and take half of it and create. And if you want to do that, be on my podcast. Come to PeteKane.me, and I don't have it up here. And I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to do it. Yes, I am. Oh, here we go. Hold on here. If you bear with me, I'll get you. Yes, there. Take a short assessment because I got to know about you. I got to know who you are to be able to have a good podcast. So go to PeteKane.me, take an assessment, and be a guest on my podcast. And when you be a guest on my podcast, you could start the journey because creating that digital asset, it's kind of like going to Costco. What do they do at Costco? They let you sample products. Why do they do that? Because when you sample something, you might want to buy the product. Is it taste good? Does it serve a need? Well, in podcasting, if you've never done a podcast, you don't know what it's like. I've had people go, oh, I've never done a podcast before. Okay. Before you rode a bike, did you ever ride one? No. You rode it. You fell on your knees, you skinned your knee, and you got back on the bike and you started riding again. You figured it out. What if you enjoy it? What if you create a digital asset which gives people a chance to get to know you? That's the 7-11-4. The more people get to consume you, the better the chance to get to know you, like you, and trust you. So be a guest on our podcast. Go to PeteKane.me and sign up. Take that assessment and get on our show. Have some fun. We have fun. We talk about being bold and making an impact and having fun. We have fun. Are we perfect? No. As you saw today, it's like, but we do things. We create things. Wanda, she's going to give you the information to have access. There's nothing more powerful than having access to the legal system. I mean, not nothing. I mean, it's important. When you look at your business, how can I amplify it? How can I get that business out there? Social media is your path to do that. So hire a professional, hire a strategist, have a person that understands where you want to go. But Krista can't understand you until you book an appointment with her. So go to PeteKane.me/Krista O'Neill and you can book an appointment with her. And then we can talk about strategy because strategy is going to get you where you need to go. And so, all righty, let me see if I'm going to put this back on the screen so you can see that. And I'm going to go to maybe one more. Let me see. Okay. I want you to think about being an ambassador. Once you've been on our podcast, we like to keep the revenue in the community. So we train you by accessing you as an brand ambassador. So when you can take your revenue and put it back in your business and you can help share our community with people that you believe that you want to help, you can be part of our magazine. Our magazine, if you go to, I think I have it here. Let me see. I'll get it here. Okay, virtual magazine. Where are you? Well, first get on our podcast. And that's it there. And I'm going to, excuse me. There it is. Okay. So go to PeteKane.me/ambassador. Why would you want to be an ambassador for our community? Well, we're creating thriving communities. We're helping people having a digital footprint that when people search you, and they will, they see enough to do business with you. They have to know you, like you, and trust you. But if you're not creating content like podcasting, like activating a book, like putting a magazine together, then those are assets that people can consume. And when you can look at your business that way and be an ambassador for our community, you can learn and grow. And if you take ambassador and you put the word magazine, you can sign up to be a part of that. And the magazine is built around this. And I'm going to talk about a little bit more in just a few minutes. The magazine is your key strategic partners. What is a key strategic partner? It's a vendor in your community. It's people you trust. It's people you've done business with. And if you can bring to your clients a team of people versus one, you're going to be more valuable to that person. So you want to bring a team of people to the value proposition that you're creating, the problems you solve for people. Do it as a team, and you can do it around our key strategic KSP magazine. So I think I had it here. I'm going to try and take it. Let's see. Let's see if I can bring it up here. I know I have it here somewhere. Nope. I'm going to go to another screen. Bear with me. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a little grace here. There it is. Go to PeteKane.me/magazine, where you can see Kennesaw Happenings, our first magazine. There's 32 people in that magazine, and there is our ecosystem, which is our masterclass. And you can get that free. So by listening and being a part of our community here at the virtual summit, we're going to give you the masterclass. That is your key. That's your fuel to the rocket of growth. And if you're growing, because it's changing, the world is changing, AI is leading the change, you're going to be fine. But if you aren't growing and you aren't leveraging the different things that are out there, you won't have an opportunity to grow like you can be. So 7-Eleven there, I'm going to go one more thing. Okay, now this is where I encourage you to invest in yourself. So what we do, we give away 90% for free. But there are some things that we are a profit business, okay? We do one-on-one coaching. We do strategy sessions with people. So if you want to do a strategy session for us, let me see, where do I go to get that? Yes, you can go to magazine and you can book a strategy session. And the magazine is a 12-week transformation. In 12 weeks, we activate your authoritative book. We put you in a magazine with 20 other people. These are your key strategic partners. And we have, for those, we're just rolling it out. It's our KPI club, where once a month, I'm going to give you 3 to 5 strategies to promote you. Because people buy from people. They don't buy from companies. So we have to promote you. We have to build you online. We have to give people the opportunity to people to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And to do that, we have to put digital assets out there. So go to PeteKane.me/magazine and book a strategy call. So you can be on, so we can talk about you. Talk about you. What is your strategy for your business? It's promoting you, but we have a way for you to accomplish that. So I got a text from my friend Phil, and he said, I'm ready, but I didn't get the link. Sorry, Phil. I'm going to try and get him back, and we're going to have him on for next week. But I may be able to get him to do, you got to hear from Phil. The guy's the funniest guy. He's kind of like the Cheers guy you'd meet that you just like to be around. He's social. He's relationship driven. And he's just a nice person that's going places. And so he helps us with our people that want to transition to be that entrepreneur, to think differently, to put a podcast out there, to publish, and to build thriving communities locally and globally. So, that is our summit for the day, man. I hope you would enjoy it as much as I did. Thank you so much. I'm going to put this up on the screen so you can see it. And also tell you that our KPI club is now starting. So we're going to once a month, and I'm going to have to put something else up here. I think I have it. Dang, do I have it? We're just rolling this out once a month. Okay, let me see. You can do it in a magazine. Once a month, we're going to teach you how to podcast, publish, and build thriving communities, because the bigger communities made up of smaller communities. And so each month, I'm going to spend time with you to help you understand the power of podcasting, publishing, and building thriving communities. If this is something that you want, you could go to PeteKane.me. Let's just say put KPI Club in there. Instead of magazine, put KPI Club. You can sign up once a month, a small investment in you, which is $97 a month. You get bonuses with that. That'll be on the page starting next week, where you can invest in yourself. And you want to invest in yourself, because that's the best investment you can ever make, is in yourself. So be a podcaster, create those digital assets, publish your book, be able to put that authoritative book out there, and be part of a thriving community of people like Krista, like Wanda, like Phil, like the others that we have in our community. So thank you so much. We appreciate you being with us. We'll always end at 9:30, and we'll always start at 8 o'clock. That's just the way we do things. So thank you so much for being with us. I think we have 30 seconds. We're going to have Q&A. We're going to have, here's a private chat. Let me see who's on here. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, Wanda, she's just sending me a chat. Man, I'm using the chat. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me see. I'm going to see if there is another slide. Okay. So come back to us to be able to get on. Our live event is starting. Live event. Okay, there's the virtual event. You sign up for the virtual event by going to PeteKane.me/virtual. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being with me. Thank you. We enjoy so much bringing you this on a weekly basis, and I appreciate you. Be bold, make a difference, and have fun. Be bold,